Hi. Okay, so it wasn't until I was 22 years old that I had my first experience with Christmas. I know you thought maybe I was going to go somewhere else with that, but that's the story. Because I'm Jewish and I grew up in New York in a very Jewish area, and all my friends were Jewish, and Christmas just wasn't on the radar. And it wasn't until I went to college that I started getting a little bit of an inkling of what Christmas was about. And then it was in graduate school where I met John, and I liked him immediately. He was smart and mature, and he thought I was funny, so we started dating that September. And in December, he said, I'd like you to meet my parents, so would you come home with me to celebrate Christmas in my hometown of Lancaster? So, like the New York Jew goes to like Pennsylvania Dutch country. And his parents are really nice and they're really gracious. And I'm in his house not 5 minutes when his father says, I think Barbara Streisand is a really talented actress. And I guess it's possible he could have just seen Yentl. But John goes, Jesus, Dad. So that pretty much sets the tone for the whole weekend. And I sleep in John's old bedroom upstairs, and he's sleeping in the study downstairs. And 6:30 on Christmas morning, he wakes me up. He says, come on, we gotta go. We gotta go to my sister Meg's house a few blocks away and watch my nephews open Christmas gifts. So I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, I'm getting dressed. He goes, no, you don't get dressed. You go in your pajamas because it creates the illusion that we're one big happy family for Christmas. Which would be fine, except, he's a guy and he didn't tell me this before, so I don't have good pajamas. I have disgusting sweatpants and worn t-shirts, and my hair is a mess, and there's no time for any kind of upkeep. So that's how I meet his sister, Meg, and she's very nice, and she greets me with a big Bloody Mary at 7 a.m. And I'm not a big drinker, but I do like tomato juice, so I take it. And it goes straight to my head. So after Meg's house, really all I want to do is go back to bed. But I can't because it's Christmas morning and there's a whole agenda. So we go back to his mother's house and she starts giving me the mimosas. And more relatives come over. And in retrospect, I really should have refused the alcohol. I could have come up with a story like, the rabbis forbid drinking on Christmas. They didn't really know many Jews. I could have sold it to them. But I just really, wanted to fit in and make a good impression. So we're there, and she's pouring me the mimosas. And then I start getting presents. And I get presents from his mother and his father and from his sister and from his brother. And I'm really surprised. And I start feeling guilty because I have nothing for anyone. No one. I mean, don't judge me. I had no idea. I thought I just was that new to Christmas. I just thought I was going to observe from the sidelines. I didn't realize they were going to include me in everything. So I'm just feeling really sheepish about the whole thing. And then finally, after all the presents, she has this big brunch set out. And thank God, because there was nothing to eat up until then. And I need the food to absorb the alcohol. So there's eggs and bacon and scrapple. And she hands me a plate of eggs, his mother, and she says, oh, and by the way, there's some bacon over there, if you want. And she's looking at me like I'm supposed to say something to that, and I don't know what she's getting at. And John's like, Terry eats bacon, Mom. So, and I know they're just trying to make me feel comfortable, but the harder they're trying to make me feel comfortable, the more uncomfortable I'm getting with the whole thing. So between all the food and all the alcohol and the lack of sleep, I'm feeling sick. So after brunch, I'm just like, I gotta go upstairs. I have to go upstairs to the room, and I think I need to use the bathroom. So I walk down the hallway to use the bathroom, and the bathroom door is open ajar, like by this much, and the light is off. So I open the door to get an eyeful of Sister Meg sitting on the toilet with a magazine on her lap. And it's about the most humiliating thing for me. And so I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I run into my room, and I'm just feeling like drunk and like a complete idiot. But also like a little angry, because who leaves the door open when you're taking a dump and there's company in the house? I mean, who does that? I mean, I would have deadbolted that door to ensure the necessary zone of privacy. And not only that, but the light was off and she was reading. I mean, she's going to get ice cream. So I'm like, now I'm hiding in his room because I just don't even know what to do. So John comes up and he's laughing hysterically because Meg told him what happened and they both think it's hilarious, but me, not so much. So now, every time I hear the song, The 12 Days of Christmas, I'm always reminded of my first Christmas when my true love gave to me 3 mimosas, 2 Bloody Marys, and a view of Sister Meg on the can.